So, hello everybody, and welcome to your Christmas present. Um, it's the 24th of December, and the Patreon is out. I don't know when you will watch it. I hope you can enjoy time with your family, with your friends, etc. And yeah, we are in Houdini 20 with Octane. Of course, you can also render in Redshift. I'm currently on version 2023.1 and the plugin version is 2023.102. I think it's not the newest one, but it's not that bad. And yeah, we will talk about the ripple solver because I think you can do cool stuff with it. This is, for example, like a little test, so you can get like really nice shapes and like a lot of detail with certain setups. And the cool thing is, so I did like a few little trees here. Also played around with the quad remesh, which is also like a really cool node in my opinion. For example, when you play with something like that, and you can then use those traveled attributes for shading, for example. So we will set it up in a few seconds. We will make a really simple example. So for example, something like this, a little ripple thingy. And I think those are really cool because you can influence the ripple speed or the wave speed with an attribute. So you can actually scale the wave speed with a mask, for example, a noise, a custom attribute, and so on. So we will do that too. And yeah, then I played like a little bit with noises, with different setups. So yeah, we will start that, and then in January I want to play around with. Well, where's the node here? I want to play around with velocities and particles. So that will be the setup for January, or the Patreon for January 2024. Another year is over. It was pretty fast. And yeah, we will render with Octane. We will set it up. So let me just get here another save out, and we'll start with like a really simple setup. So we can place down a sphere, and with that sphere, let's get it to polygons. And what we want to do is to place down the ripple solver. So this is the newest like ripple solver here. And what we can do, we can then animate geometry into the solver. So for example, yeah, rest warning, we can mist deforming geometry. So we will pipe that in here, and then we will need an input. So we will need like a starting ripple or a starting collision point, and we can do that with a sphere, for example. So let's place down another sphere, and let's make that sphere. Let's template it, and let's make that sphere smaller. Let's scale it down a bit. Maybe like 0.2 2. I think that should be 5. 5, fine. And now we can animate it. So let's translate it from maybe 24 frames and pow, get in here. And let's just see what will happen. So we will get something like this, already a ripple. And you see the initial sphere is shrinking and deforming really nicely. What we can do, we can pull back up. So pull out again, like, I don't know, there was like 1 second. Let's go for 10 more frames and then pull back out again. So we get a initial start, but then pull back out. Okay, cool. And I think another cool thing is the ripple solver is quite fast. So let's go for like 50. So we will get higher detail. I love it. I really like the solver. Also for like growth stuff, etc. It's really cool because we can visualize those attributes. So let's place a null here, out ripple. Out ripple. And we will go to output and displace the displacement. And we can visualize that. And the cool thing is we can then use that as a mask, for example, for shading. Another thing what I want to do is to displace now the original sphere. So let's do that. What we can do is place down a WOP. Let's place down an attribute WOP and pipe it between here. And what I want to do is to place down, maybe let's use a curl noise. I think a curl noise would be nice, and displace along normal. And I want the position of the sphere to displace. And I want to use the curl noise to do that. So I want the position of the sphere and pipe that firstly into the noise. Into the color, and let's see. And we can get that in here. And what I want to do, I want to scale that a little bit down. And I want to go also a little bit down with the roughness. So this is just like a really, really easy and simple displacement setup. And now we can view our sphere again with the ripple solver. Maybe what we can do, let's just do that. Place a null in here. And so we can place all our nodes in between here, what we want to do. The second thing what I want to do is to smooth that out a little bit. So just to give it like a little bit of smoothing, let's go for 25. And what I want to do, I want to accelerate the displacement like a little bit more, maybe 0.1. I think that should be fine. Then another thing what I want to do is to place a second attribute WOP, and I want to call this create. Let's call it attrib wave. And what I want to do, I also did that here, is to basically like create a wave speed attribute between, for example, like 0.25 and 1. And we will bind that wave speed attribute out to the points, to the surface. So the ripple solver can inherit this attribute and solve with it. Let's call this in geo ripple. Let's just for like naming convention, let's call this one in geo starter. And that should be fine. Okay, cool. Let's go here. Let's activate in our simulation setup. Let's go maybe for 2 substeps. And for the setup, I want the wave speed use attribute. And I want to use the wave speed attribute. Let's dive inside. Let's place down maybe an anti-aliased noise. And first of all, let's divide that a little bit more, maybe 100. Frequency 100, I think that looks nice. Let's dive inside, pipe that out to the color to get like an initial view. And our anti-aliased noise got a range, an initial range, I think you already know that, from minus 0.5 to 0.5. You can also look that up. If you go to the little question mark up here, you will get a node information for each node. And you can see anti-aliased noise creates an anti-aliased noise by using the information of the incoming position and to compute a band limited noise, etc. And you can see the default output range of the noise is minus 0.1 to 0.1, and I want to fit that basically between minus 0.1 to 0.1. So this is like the input. And we want to fit that between 0.25 and 1. Let's raise the amplitude to maybe 5. I think 5 is nice. And maybe the frequency. Let's do something like this. And I want the roughness like a little bit lower. 0.45 should be fine. And what we want to do, we want to bind export. So we want to export this attribute to wave speed. Let's disconnect that. And now when we place the information here and click on wave speed, so we will get a visualizer for that. We can see our wave speed. Let's view it in grayscale and go to auto. So it's basically from 0.25 to 1. Cool. This is our wave speed visualizer. Let's maybe not use black and white. This is sometimes for me the color. Let's use I don't know. Yes, let's use the white water. Okay, and let's see how that will look. And now we really I love it. We really get those like abstract looking things. Let's just play with the wave speed here. So for example 0.1 to 0.25. So this is like a really minimal range. Let's see how that will look. Okay, much slower, and we will get those extremely high ripples here. Let's go from 0.85 to 1. And let's use scale attribute. Okay, that's also cool. Oh, that looks really nice. Of course, we will get intersections, etc., but I don't currently care about this because I want to do something abstract with it, of course. And let's do one more thing. Let's visualize our wave speed again. And maybe go down with the frequency and make it like really high. Like not high, but a really broader scale. Okay, you can see here it's slowing down. Okay, that looks really cool down here. That looks really nice. Let's go for, I don't know, 250. Maybe that could take a little bit longer to simulate. Okay, sphere coming in. The cool thing is, as a collider input or an initial starter input, we can not only use like a sphere, we can also use like a block, we can use a swept line, etc. That's the cool thing. Okay, that looks, I like it. That looks cool. Let's just get that set up down here so we have more space to work with. And what I want to do, for example, for post-processing, let's get a VDB from polygons and let's remesh that whole thing. Let's just remesh the shit out of this. Initial voxel size 0.0015, and let's convert it. So convert VDB. So what I'm currently doing here is to convert our polygonal geometry into a three-dimensional voxel, and we can convert that back again to polygons to smooth that out. What we can do, we can place a VDB smooth SDF between those things to like really smooth it out, but then we will lose basically a lot of detail. So let's dial the iteration maybe down to 1 iteration, so we keep more of that fine detail here. I really like those ripples here. Of course, this is now in a more abstract context. You can also do like, I don't know, water droplets on a surface with it, surface ripples. But let's try another thing. Let's copy like the whole setup, so we can iterate now on this kind of setup. And what I want to do, currently we've got a sphere as an input, but I want a tube. Let's go for a tube. A tube. Let's make it like maybe the same size, maybe a little bit longer and a little bit smaller. And let's copy parameter, paste relative reference. So it will reference the parameter, so we don't have to look at it all the time. Cap ends, yes please. And what I want to do is to bump up our rows and our columns. And currently we've got those caps, and let's now use the new quad remesh. That does a fairly good job. Maybe let's go for something like that, and then just subdivide the hell out of it. I don't know what's better. I think triangles would be better for detail. So what we could do, we could remesh the whole thing. Yeah, let's just remesh. Maybe we don't even need to do the quad remesh, but let's just keep it in there. Iterations 5 and target size 0.05, 0.01. Yeah, let's go for 0.01, but on the top level. Let's go way higher here. And also on here. Oh, not smaller, higher. Let's go higher. Let's get the subdivide in between here. And let's get the remesh. And I think 100,000, yeah, 1.5 million, and let's subdivide that. And let's use the open subdiv loop. So we got roughly 400,000. Let's do it again. And we will end up with 1.7 million polys. I think that's not that bad. What I want to do here, let's play with also an anti-alias noise, because we have negative and positive values. And what I want to do is to not fit it. Let's get the amplitude higher and the frequency to something like, maybe something like this. And maybe 2. How high can we get here? Let's go not too high. Let's go to 0.5. So we got that more like of an elongated frequency. We have some problems down here, but I think that's not a problem for the ripple solver. We can smooth it out. Let's have a look at our wave speed. Maybe we can dial up the frequency here a little bit. And let's see how that will look. Of course, we will need to reanimate our little cute starter here. Let's go again for like a top smash. And let's don't penetrate the surface that extremely. And let's go up again. That looks nice. And let's see how oh, that was my mic, sorry. How the ripples will look on this one. Okay, getting started. Oh, that was sick. I love the solver. It's so cool. The cool thing is you can also then like transfer the initial attribute to damn, look at those details. You can transfer the displacement attribute to the original geo and then play, for example, with blend shapes. Let's have a look at this displacement. That's really cool for shading. Nice. So we could also use, for example, something like this. Or what you also can do, I use the cloud shape generate. This is also like a new node in Houdini. For the cloud tools, check them out. They are also like really nice. Maybe I will also do like a tutorial on that for YouTube or Patreon. But I think those are really nice to generate fast, random, spherical shapes and then mesh them together, which is also really nice. You can flatten the bottom. There is like an in-depth tutorial already from the Side Effects YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out. And I'm going back to my lovely sphere here because I really like that one. This looks rad. I really like those formed ripples. What we could do, we could go higher. We can go higher, of course. Let's go for 350. And let's simulate that. And then we go we can go a little bit into shading. Let's just simulate it. And it's fairly quickly. So those are like, I don't know how many polygons. Of course, now it will slow down. I could give, wait. Simulation, let's go for cache memory, 50 gigs. Global substeps, maybe. Let's go for 2. That will be a little bit slower, of course. Okay, coming nicely together. Damn! That looks so ridiculous. Of course, those are like in exclamation marks geometry arrows, but let's just embrace them. And let's have a look how. Damn. Okay, this looks really nice. Let's go back with the resolution like a little bit. And maybe also with the substep. I don't know currently like the substep stuff. So if it like will be better, if it let's try it again. I think it would be really crazy if you combine that with a pyrogrowth or just like a growth attribute with blend shapes. I think that would be really nice. Of course, you need to fix somehow like those iterations, but you could also do that convert, get back to the same point count. Or just do it with volumes and a mix inside of a warp or like a VDB reshape growth. but I think that looks really nice, especially coming from those edgy, really hard rippled spikes to those waves, and then flattened out because of our wave speed down here. I think that's like really cool. Of course, we can transfer our attribute back in here. What we will do, what I want to do is to get a blend time shift, and then I want to freeze that frame. This will be our geo. Attribute transfer. Let's just use that. And I want to transfer displacement. I think we don't need wave speed. We could have a look on that, but let's just freeze that also here. But I think displacement is really, really nice too. What is weight? What is like the value of those? Let's go in our lovely geometry spreadsheet. Displacement. Okay, minus. Yeah, okay. So let's fit that. Min max. Displacement. Okay, cool. That's way better. Oh, those are cool for shading. I love it. Okay, now let's set up an Octane setup. I already got a custom one here, but let's set that up again. Let's delete that, and let's delete that one too, and let's delete just everything. And let's delete that also. Get rid of those object parameters. We got now. Let's delete those two. And the cameras. I will keep like one camera left. So we have a camera. Let's go for. Of course, this would be cool for Instagram stories. Let's set up the stuff first. Okay, let's set up. This will be camera Octane RND001. Let's see if it's still okay. Perfect. With that camera, we will do our later style frames. And what I want to do, let's dive inside. Okay, I think that should be nice and fine. I want to place down a material. Let's place down a not RS, or Octane matte. This will be our material link. And what I want to do, I want to select our GeoRipple RND container. And I want to click from the Octane tab on Object Parameters. And then on Attributes, Point Float Attributes, Displacement. So I want to transfer that displacement float attribute basically into our shading network so we can use that for shading. Then what I want to do is to place down a material network and a Rob network. So material and Rob, I usually color those then green, it's not redshift, Octane out. And this will be our Octane matte, but also at the same time our Octane render setup. Let's dive inside here. Let's go for Octane out 001. And what I want to do, I want to quickly link the camera. Copy parameter, paste relative reference. So our camera is always also in the IPR camera. And let's just go for, faces, low contrast. That should be all fully fine. And let's dive inside here and place down an Octane render target. Let's see, custom RT render. Let's write that out and let's go for 001. I usually color those in black, and then just if I need to do something, allow editing of contents. What I want to get, for example, is an RGB image. Let's go for texture, RGB, and that will be our bokeh image. And what I want to do is to get a bokeh image in here. Images, let's go for this one. And I want to get that into the universal camera, into the aperture shape. What I also sometimes do, I rearrange those in here a lot and play with those. But yeah, let's go for path tracing, universal lens, and texture environment. For the kernel, let's go to 2048 samples. I think that should be fully fine. Light, AI light, and adaptive sampling. Let's enable adaptive sampling also. Universal camera. What I want to do here is maybe just leave it for now. This can be a stuff for later. Aperture shape custom. The imager, let's go for OCIO and low contrast. And it should be all okay, but we need environment texture. Let's go for the usual Pro Metal Studios for now. I think that should be fully fine. Of course, post-processing, we can play with that later. But let's dive into our camera and start that thing up. Let's I'm hyped for those look dev. Let's go with that. 110 millimeters is nice to capture some like more of a close-up. And let's start our render, and you will see that our whoops, that was a fail. We need to link our Octane, we need to link our, I think it already created. No, okay. We need to link our render target. So material, custom render target, link that, and then it should be fine to start. And you, oh, that could be my other driver. I hope that driver will work, because I'm currently on the newest one and sometimes it's a little bit fucked up. Yeah, you can see the material is not linked and we don't even have a material, but we will do that now. For the sampling, let's go down with the f-sub, like 5.6 to get not that harsh kind of depth of field. We can play with that, of course, later. On the material side, let's create one. So Octane material builder. Matte R&D 001. Let's color that in green. And what I want to do, I want to link it. And now our material is connected and it should be gray. Takes a little bit to load. Yes, nice, cool. Our HDR is of course also working. So when we like get that around here, you can see, whoops, not the scale. No, the rotation. This is also working. Let's get a nice sliding, something like that. Oh, another cool thing is, let's just disable that, go with color black. And another cool thing is, in the newest Octane version, there is the analytic, no, you need to place down the Octane Spectrum light. Also light, spread, we got spread now in Octane. That's really cool. Let's go for, I don't know. Let's go for harsh light from the side. Go to light, analytic light, and on the analytic light we can now decrease or increase the spread angle. Yes, you will have to sample more, etc. There's a really nice tutorial about this, or not a tutorial, more of a feature overview from Silver Wing VFX on YouTube. Please check that out. It's like really cool. Yes, so this is now like our harsh light. So we can play with that. We can make it okay, definitely need to change the driver. We can change that, of course, the brightness, etc. So let's go for 50. And I think that's really cool that this is now enabled and you can play with that. Okay, but let's just go for our HDR. And what we can do a little bit to get a little bit faster feedback. Okay, we got 1 point. What was the initial count? Okay, let's go for 0.05 to just get a little bit faster. Cool. Let's start it up again. And what I also want to start back up again is our HDR, because that's currently not started. Let's refresh our render view here. Cool. We can dial it up. Let's go for 2. And what I want to do is to get rid of the standard surface. Let's go for a universal material or the standard. Let's just have a look how that will look in glass. Oh, that's also sexy. That's cool. What I want to do is to shade that thing a little bit cooler. Let's import our displacement attribute here. And what I want to do is to get a float vertex attribute and a tool gradient. Pipe that into the base color and here the displacement. Let's just enable autosave here. And that should do the trick. Yes, cool. So now we can basically play like with our attribute here. Can I get it? Yeah, together. Okay, that's cool. No! No, it's gone forever. Okay, it's not gone. Let's just play with those 2 values. Okay, cool. Now we're talking about that. Let's go for like, I really like this light value, and maybe go for like a little bit darker value here. And what we could do that subsurface. And we can pipe that into the subsurface color. Imagine that. Subsurface color. Of course, you can also iterate on that. So for example, that looks cool. That looks a little bit gory. I don't know why, but I like it. Okay, let's make the transition maybe a little bit smoother. So something like that. Let's also try metal. Pipe that into specular. Nah, that's not the vibe. Maybe it could look nice with like a grayish tone. Yeah, that's much cooler. But I really like this one here with... I think the diffuse look is also cool. I think it has something... It's like, it's not simple, of course. Oh, that's the focus distance, I'm sorry. No, we changed the focus distance. Let's go for an elongated anamorphic bokeh. Universal camera, aperture aspect ratio. 2 times squeeze factor. Let's go for a realistic f-stop, like 1.4. 1 is also realistic, of course. Oh god, I damn. Definitely need to explore that way deeper. It looks also cool. So what I want to do, I want to get a nice frame. Like this one is cool. I like this flat out surface. Maybe we could play a little bit with the lighting. So let's go back and let's get a nice, like more of a dramatic lighting, and we can pipe that up, of course, like to 4. And let's go again for our subsurface material. And maybe we could introduce some coding, and the coding we can do in red. No, I don't like that. Let's keep it white and go a little bit more. Let's try the material specular with transmission. I like that more. And what we then can use, let's go for Maxon noise. Maxon noise, where is it? Oh, the C4D noise. Noise, Cinema 4D. And I think that would be nice to play with it. Let's just refresh one more time here. Okay, let's get a diffuse to have a look on that noise. And what I want to do, use C4D noise, and I want the Luca noise. I want a scale. Let's go for something tiny, but not too tiny. I think this is nice. And what I want to do, I want to introduce another noise. But for this one, let's go with the FBM. Or displace turbulence. Something like that. Not an absolute, or let's try some. I think wavy turbulence is nice. Let's go for mix amount. On whoops, texture 1, texture 2. Yes, nice. And then let's go for texture multiply. And what I want to do is to get like a metal surface to test the bump first. Okay, it looks cool in metal. I think it looks not that bad. Of course, I think there is also, in the newest version, there is the bump height, yeah. But I usually do it like with a multiply texture. And let's get like a little bit of imperfection, not that much. I think something like that is cool. And pipe that in our bump. Pipe that in here. Of course, we can raise that a little bit. Let's have a look at the metal again. Let's get that. Because I like the metal a lot. I think the metal looks also cool. Let's go back. Let's make another camera. Let's make this camera like more of an standard aspect ratio. Let's pipe that camera in here. And let's refresh that and go back in here. I also really like that piece here. There's a little bit different lighting. Of course, what we also could do is to get some color lighting, but I already like this a lot here. I'm currently like really into like black and white muted color stuff. Oh wait. We got the whole time we got autofocus on, I think. Yes. No. Now we're talking. Okay, cool. Let's not use optical vignetting, but what we could use is to get like a little bit of a spherical aberration and a little bit of coma or anti-stigmatism, or a little bit of let's get bloom. No, maybe like a little bit of chromatic aberration. That looks cool. I like it. It's like a, I don't know, a molded metal shot. Let's go for camera 3. Let's dive inside. Yeah. The huge thing is of course currently the light, but I think those like rippled surfaces also look really cool. Especially those one here. If we can capture them nicely with a harder light, and of course not that extreme depth of field. Let's go for f-stop of 8. And we need to definitely dial down the CA. I think that's a little bit too much. Maybe 0.15. That's cool. Okay, I think that's it for now, guys. I hope you will explore the ripple solver in an abstract or in a normal way. And yes, Merry Christmas, and I hope you will get safe into the year 2024. And you will hear from me with new Patreon, new posts, stories, etc. So yeah, see ya.